The Spanish Civil War was a major conflict fought in Spain from July 17, 1936 to April 1, 1939. It was a civil war between the Republicans and the Nationalists. The Republicans were those who supported the Second Spanish Republic, as the Nationalists were the rebels led by Francisco Franco, and that they had support from the Catholic Church, big landowners, and monarchists. Foreign aids were included, resulting in advanced military effects such as the effect the Condors had in Guernica. Over the next 3 years, thousands of people died as the two sides fought for power and control over Spain. The result of the war ended with a victory for the Nationalists led by Franco, and Spain suffered 40 years under Franco's rule. There were many effects that had led to many possible problems in the future. And what were the key effects of the Spanish Civil War?
The Spanish Civil War left Spain's economy crippled and with a long way to recovery. The war itself killed an estimated 500,000 people in Spain, which left it with a drastically reduced able-bodied working population. During the war, the Republicans and the Nationalists each had their own government, each of which only focused on the war. The government had been neglecting agriculture and other important aspects of the economy, which hurt Spain very much after the war. As a result of the fighting in Spain, private investment was lost and trade shipping was reduced to two-thirds of what it had been prior to the war. Bombing on the Spanish countryside destroyed much of the infrastructure. The communications networks, including trams, needed to be rebuilt after the damage dealt to it by the fighting. The war ravaged the country and left 70% of machinery in need of repair. Spain had used extensive amounts of gold to back the war, and much of Spain's natural resources were being given to the Germans. Along with all these problems, because of Spain's cooperation with Hitler and Mussolini, Spain is treated as an international outcast and did not receive much of the foreign aid or.
Fascism became stronger after the Spanish Civil War. During the war, Franco sent a message to Hitler for some help. It is known that Franco had some admiration for him as Hitler had for Mussolini. As Mussolini had the same views as Hitler did and similar background, the fact that the League of Nations looked down on both Italy and Germany, Hitler admired Mussolini. But since both Hitler and Mussolini were in the Fascist group, that all leaders wanted to defeat communism. During the war, Franco sent a request to Hitler for air transport. As Hitler agreed, both Mussolini and Hitler joined the nationalist side. The war ended with the victory of the nationalists, and fascism grew mainly because of the victory. Franco was on the side of Hitler and Mussolini, causing him to dictate Spain with fascism. Even though he was not involved in the second war, and he ruled Spain even after Hitler and Mussolini met their end. He continued fascism until the end of his rule. His rule in Spain allowed fascism to grow because of his way of ruling for many years.
The war also weakened the credibility of communism. The Nationalists represented the fascists, and the Republicans represented the left wing, which included communists and socialists. The Nationalists, with fascist aid, defeated the Republicans, who received aid from the Soviet Union and the international brigades. The Soviet Union was unable to measure up to Italy and Germany, and lost face because of the Republican victory over the Nationalists. After the war, Stalin leaned more towards Hitler because he found that Britain and France hadn't helped out during the war. The war steered Stalin away from an alliance with the West and towards appeasement with Germany. Stalin ended up striking a deal with Hitler after the war. Many around the world thought less of communism after they saw its weakness in the Spanish Civil War.